Hey, welcome to Expansions. Welcome to the echoey place called here. I like it though. I don't know, maybe not the echoes, but I like the space. So I'll give everyone a moment to tune in. So this is Expansions. It's that song style. So there's a topic around the spiritual dimension of wellness. It's about spirituality. And it's one of my favorite topics because it's the most expansive topic like ever. And not only is it like the most expansive topic ever, it's to me it's all about love and connection to something bigger. So I feel like I'm yelling. I don't think I am. But as you tune in, if you want to say, hey, I would love to see who's joining. And as you do tune in, feel free to share your input, your ideas, whatever you have to share because I want to know. That song has been in my head like, oh hey Rebecca, and I don't know the words to it, but I think it's like Whitney Houston, like I wanna know. Oh, if he really loves me, I wanna know. See, that's how I sing that. So, I don't know why that song has been in my head all day, and it came out here, so that's a thing. So please tune. You are tuned in. Chime in whenever you want. Um, I feel like a couple more people may join. I'm not sure. Hey, welcome. Please do. Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Like, I think more people are gonna join.
I know, like literally the door open. I was like, perfect timing. So, we'll hold the space energetically in case anyone else wants to join in the physical. And, oh, hey everybody. Joining all over the place. Jessica, Mama Jane is here from Indiana and in Indiana. Anyway, so let's all just connect, shall we? Connecting feels so good. So just take a deep breath and let it go. Take another big full breath in and start to feel the weight of your body. And as you exhale, start to feel the weight of your body and the presence of peace and stillness that is within you. And at the same time as you feeling presence and peace in the body, you also maybe bring awareness to all the movement in your body. The way the lungs move and expand, the way the belly expands and contracts, the way the shoulders rise and fall, the way the blood is pumping and the heart is beating. You notice the stillness that you are, and you notice the movement within. And become really, really aware of this now moment. Releasing all of the ideas and concepts and experiences that have happened previous to this now. Let them fall away like little seeds onto the earth. And all the ideas of the future and what will happen and what needs to happen, you see them growing from the earth outside of you, nourishing everything around it. And you become even more aware of this present moment, this now, the space of stillness, the space of movement, the space of your body, your breath, and this beautiful heart center. Take a big breath in, let it go. Now we're here. Now we're here. And I have another cushion, and there may be another cushion in that as well, and you are welcome to sit there. It's a little easier on the hips sometimes. They don't lie, you know. They're like, hey. So I'm so happy that we get to be here. I'm so glad that we're inside. I'm loving that we have this cold weather because I get to be cozy with myself and like get the cozy clothes and all the layers and all that stuff. And at the same time, I completely hate it when it's cold out because I like to be without clothes and just a lot more free feeling. And so it's this like beautiful duality of this season. It's so great. So just a quick check-in. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling in your physical body? How's your body feeling? And how is your spirit, your heart feeling? Anybody?
I'm feeling really happy. And what else is
Yeah? How does that feel with your spirit, your energy, your heart when you feel present?
curious, open?
Nice. Isn't that funny how you can actually feel heavy and open at the same time?
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. How are y'all feeling? Anyone else?
I'm just here. Like it's right now I feel really good and calm. But we were just talking earlier, it's like this past week it was crazy. And so that almost settling in meditation was perfect because it was just like, just let it happen. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm feeling really open right now too, I would say. In this now, right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Feeling open, feeling pretty good.
Yeah. I just feel the same.
Yeah?
Openness. And then also
Nice.
So I participated in the ceremony this past weekend, and for me, it's been integrating as well as changing like lifestyle habits and everything. And I've noticed that because things are out of balance, because I'm not used to the balance yet, it's much easier for me to slip into complaining, which was an old habit. And like, as soon as I complain, I'm like, I'm like catching myself. And then like, I know that the transition will come soon where I notice the decision to complain instead of actually afterwards. So I'm currently playing with that, and that results in the like, obviously the dietary changes are shifting the body so I'm much lighter. Yeah, as well as noticing that with that complaining comes a little bit of density, and I'm also playing with density from the ceremony that's like still passing through and everything. So.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Just thinking about the feeling around when we're in a certain way of being. Has anyone ever had like a tight muscle in their body? Like maybe you have like a side thing or whatever, and you don't realize how jacked up you are until you get a massage, and then everything like realigns, or like an adjustment, or you do a yoga class or whatever, and everything just kind of like realigns, and you feel a little dizzy. And it's because you found balance being in discomfort, in tightness, in imbalance. We find a balance, a regularity, and normalcy to that type of pain and discomfort and wonkiness. And then when we get put back into alignment, that it can feel like, ugh. It's like if me, whoever, it's like if I just have eaten like McMeals for like 6 months straight, and then for like 2, 3 days I start eating like fresh food, my stomach is gonna be like, what are you doing? Because this is fiber. I don't know what this means. And I might be like pooing my face off.
Yeah.
But it's getting back into that balanced state. Thank you for sharing that. Nikki says, had a great spiritual journey today and I'm feeling very energized. Ooh, that's exciting. Oh, I don't know why that makes me, that made me wiggle. Thanks for sharing that. I'm like, so something that, the topic that I kind of wanted to share about is this notion and concept around pain and how we can actually transcend pain and alchemize it into pleasure. Yeah, because I feel, so my experience, and I don't feel like I'm the only one who's ever experienced pain. Okay, good. I'm not the only one who's ever experienced pain, right? So I'm going to use physical pain in this story. Um, so I have a lot of tattoos. I have a lot, and I started getting them when I was 15 or 16, I think, because I think in the state that I was in, you could be 16 and get them legally with parental, as long as a parent took you. Thank you, Mom. True story. You supported my lifelong addiction. Probably kept me from killing myself for real, though. So for real. And I would always just, I would ignore the pain half the time when I was getting tattooed, and I would talk to the artist, and I would just like divert myself and whatever. And over the years, that changed because either I was married to the tattoo artist, so I mean, we talked all the time, so whatever. Um, or I was like, I'll just get into the music, and I didn't like the music anymore, and I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave my body anymore because I realized that that's what I was doing. The pain would be so big that I would literally dissociate from my body. I would leave me. You do your work on me, and then I'll come back, right? I'll distract myself enough in some way that I won't even be here for this pain that I'm in. Totally. I was leaving me enough to be numb. And and when I think back in some physical traumas that I've experienced, that's what I did. I couldn't stop the situations from happening, so I just left myself. It was safer for me to leave me and then come back and just kind of like care for what was left.
Same is true for emotional trauma.
Exactly. Big time same for emotional trauma. And so once I started doing more work and stopped dissociating so much, then I started doing, then back to this tattoo experience. I was like, oh shit, it hurts so bad. And then I was also choosing areas like my armpits that are just sensitive to tattoo. And so I learned through those specific tattoos in my armpits, something that was really powerful. Because I didn't want to leave anymore. Apparently, I can't leave me anymore. I'm here to stay for me. So the pain was really, it was intense. And as soon as he started, I was like, shit, oh God, like, because I knew it wasn't going to like numb out. And I was like, okay, can't leave myself, and I don't want to be in this pain. And I'm also committed to the result, right? It's like working out. Commit to the result, you're going to push your body, it's going to burn. And so I sat there as he's working on me, and I was thinking, like, this hurts. This really hurts. Like, this burns, and it just, I'm going to breathe. No, it doesn't help to breathe. Oh God, it just hurts. And I'm like, this is so painful. And I was like, wait a minute, why am I calling it painful? Why am I labeling it? I am labeling it as painful, only because someone told me that that's the word to use when I'm in discomfort. Why am I not saying that it's pressure, or it's heat, or that it's like sanding something? And so then I go deep into my mind and into my body in that open space of curiosity. And in my body, and I'm like, what else does this feel like? If it's not pain, what else does this feel like? Well, it feels like pressure, and then you would spray the whatever on it, and I would be like, ooh, that feels cold. I feel like I just got hit by the ocean, so the rest of the time, I had transcended pain and I had alchemized it and changed it so that I was actually in pleasure. My mind was busy, I was in curiosity, I was creating all types of new realities in the now that I was experiencing. And if we think about being able to do that in this physical example, and I think that if anyone's ever been an athlete or trained for anything physical, that's what we do. If you're training for a marathon and you have to run 20 miles that day, mile 3 may really start to suck. And then mile 10 is not going to be fun either. So you get to create ways, and you can either leave your body and just force it to do the job, or you can create new realities in your head and make it enjoyable, make it a game, make it something different.
But it almost sounds like, you want to engage with it.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you start playing. So. And maybe it's not so much like I'm just hearing it, I'm just wondering, it's been a big topic for me too. It's not so much about pain versus pleasure. Let's say you can have both.
Yeah,
It's not like there's no pain.
right. And what's to say that one isn't the other?
Yeah.
Because there's not really a hard stop between pleasure and pain. It's not stop go. And even if you're in a stop go situation, even in your car, there's a hard stop where you can tell that you're stopped. It's okay, now I'm stopped. And then there's a point of starting to go, well, what is it? Is it the decision that starts to make you go first? Or is it when the foot lifts off the pedal? Or is it when it pushes down? Or is it when the wheels go? Like there's so many steps of that spectrum between the two.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm saying that because it's a lot on my mind because it's more about the engagement versus because there's very real addiction to pain and addiction to pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some people, myself, when you just realize, oh, just gonna avoid anything painful. This is another way, it's not like numbing, but you're just gonna follow the pleasure, right? Or, so it's both, like it's engaging with whatever is there.
Yeah, it's being really present.
Right.
And taking it into so we went into the physical and then kind of going into the emotional realm, right? It's like, this heartbreak hurts. And it's so easy to, and I'm gonna wrap back into that. And it's so easy to, ignore it, right? I'll dissociate from this heartache and this pain that I'm in, and I'm gonna go do these other things instead. Great, I'm gonna go on Tinder, I'm gonna go drink, you name it, right? I'm gonna binge on Netflix, and then there's the transcending of it, which is, okay, this hurts, and then maybe even go into my body, well, what does it actually feel like? What does my heart feel like? Does it actually feel like it's being ripped open? Does it actually feel like somebody's sitting on it? Does it feel like tears are coming out of it? Does someone feel like it's being stabbed? Like, what does it actually feel like? And start to rename this heartbreak. And then, well, maybe it's actually expanding. Maybe it's getting bigger. And start to transcend it and well, now if I feel like my heart is just getting bigger now, well, that feels kind of, it doesn't feel good, but, that feels kind of good. That my heart is actually getting bigger. And then I can go into the other end of that spectrum, where it's, my heart is hurting so bad, it's so broken, I deserve it, right? And so now I'm feeding the pain with more pain.
Right.
And that is where things become addictive.
Right.
It's like instead of dissociating and pulling directly out, I'm just going to dive in and almost ignore the pain and go for straight up punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Or go beyond to the pleasure realm. I feel like I'm jumping the gun. That's okay.
No.
Going into the realm of pleasure, where you can be in so much pleasure that you start to really everything becomes more alive and activated and activated and activated. It feels so good, it tastes so good, it tastes so good, and all of a sudden you're like, it's too much. It's too much, stop. Oh, this cake is so good, this cake is so good, this cake is so good. Oh God, the sugar hit. This drink is so good. God, these drinks are so good. Oh, it feels so good to drink. And all of a sudden you're like, I had one too many. You know, it's because when we can be in this like presence with it as it is, then we transcend it, we morph it, we alchemize in any way that we kind of look at that, which we can go into more
And it
more
sounds
of
like
that.
the first step is describing what you're doing, you're observing,
Mhm.
because you're describing, you're going into like more details,
Yeah.
and describing in different ways, you're observing, and then you get a bit of a distance.
Yeah. Well, is it, okay, so is it getting more of a distance from it, or is it becoming closer related to it?
Well, the way I see it in terms of distance, I can, like, it's like, I can look at it, so like, I'm not like merging with it fully, but I'm in a relationship with it, but in order for me to be in a relationship, I need to see you, to describe what you like. So it is a bit of a distance, but in a certain way, it's a healthy distance, not like dissociating, but it's kind of being able to actually see it.
Yes. Yeah, and it's also, we will personalize, we'll take so many things personally. Meaning, um, I just got fired and my life is ending. Like we'll take it so personally, as opposed to, wow, I'm experiencing this. Or, I just got fired. Wow, let's see what this is going to lead to. Or even going into the examples around, I am so mad. I am so mad all the time. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. As opposed to like, well, I'm experiencing anger. And what does that look like? What does that even feel like? What am I actually feeling when I am experiencing anger? And kind of pulling that apart to see it with clarity and then reconfiguring the sensation so that it actually fits in a way that I feel me and with me. And then as soon as I do that, the timeline of the experience completely shifts. It's like when I became in this curious space with these armpit tattoos in this example, I was like, next thing you know, we were done. And I was like, how long were you working on me? Because was that like 20 minutes? And he was like, no, it was, I don't know, however long it was. And I'm like, whoa, I transcended time. And same thing with if something is pleasurable or somewhat pleasurable. For example, it's a nice day. It's a nice day. It's comfortable. Sun is shining. It's nothing spectacular, maybe it's a little buggy or a little muggy or what else. But if I can really start to amplify the pleasure, because it's not a lot, like, wow, I love the way the sun is shining through those leaves and the way the wind is on my skin and I hear the birds and I hear the crickets and I love the way these bugs are flying around me. I love the mugginess and the way my skin is starting to glow. Then I've taken this pleasurable experience and I've actually lengthened time. So we start to completely change everything with the relationship that we have with pain and pleasure and the way we relate to it, and we'll alchemize everything about it. We'll alchemize the time. We'll completely jump timelines. We literally will just alchemize and change time. We'll alchemize our entire physical body, because in the example of the armpit tattoos, if the whole time I were like, oh God, this hurts, then my adrenal system's going to go all types of bonkers. All my muscles are going to be tight and tense. I'm going to leave there feeling blood pressure like shifts. I'll be more shaky than I'm already going to be because my body did just go through a trauma. I'm going to feel hurt and achy and I'll be out of whack. And then there's going to be a part of me that's going to be like, hey, Jane, why did you just hurt me like that? Why did you just hurt me? Why did you just put me through that pain for that long? How dare you do that to me? As opposed to, wow, I love this art that's now on you. Oh, yay, me. It's like it's funny to not dissociate. You actually come together with all of the parts of you in multiple conversations. It sounds very strange when I speak it out loud.
Yeah, I'm really big about this conversation in your head kind of thing. It's in the experience, I already forgot it.
Surrender experiment.
Yeah, the surrender experiment. He's talking about becoming very aware of like the voice inside your head and how it's like his mission to quiet it, like to just make it go away, and then like his observation of it appearing. And so I've been like noticing all the conversations in my head. It's like, oh my gosh, like I talk a lot in my head, like so much. And so just trying to figure out what I'm talking myself into all the time. And in reality, and then I'm like having conversations about what I'm having conversations about. I'm like, is this positive? Is this a good conversation? Should you be saying this in your head? And then it's just like, when you're in the now, when you're, like you said, talking about like, oh, how beautiful the trees are and the sun and, whatever is going on around you, finding the pleasures, there's no time for me to talk to myself. It seems like there's no time period. And that, like you saying, that time, like the fact that you can push through time or lengthen time or all of that is really, I connect with that a lot.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Those conversations, part of the welcome, it's okay. I feel that part of the transcending of pain to alchemize it in any pain, mental pain, physical pain, emotional pain, any kind of pain, because we do have these conversations in our head that say, this hurts, this sucks, when is this going to be over, is this ever going to end, oh God, is this ever going to end, is this ever going to end, how long have they been doing this, right? How long am I going to be sad? Am I going to be sad forever? Because last time I was sad, I went into deep depression. Am I going to be depressed again? Oh God, am I going to figure out the meds again? Like, we will go into these loops,
do that shit last
Yeah.
right? We will go through those that we will, right? And so that's why I'm such a big fan, huge fan of mantras, of like getting something on repeat,
Yeah.
like Om Ganapate Namaha, like whatever it is, Om Mani Padme Hum, like something, so I can have an anchor, so I can let my body just do what it needs to do, so my brain can shut up, so I can refocus to now reevaluate on the reality of the now that I'm experiencing, and not this projection of this future of, oh God, was this ever going to end? No, it won't. It's not ever going to end if I'm in it and I'm looking to the future. Is this ever going to end? No, because it's always there. Am I ever going to catch the carrot? No, because it's always here.
That mantra stuff is true. I don't even know because I didn't consciously decide I wanted to say I love my life, but I found now, because I guess I've been saying it every now and then, but I was driving here and like I've got some things I'm trying to sort out, and like wasn't caring for my job, I'm feeling not great in my body, I was in traffic, and I'm like I'm listing all the things I'm not happy about, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere I was like, I love my life, and I was like, I love my life, and I was like, I guess I love my life, and then I was like, okay. And it was funny because it just like popped in there out of nowhere. And I was like, I didn't even think that. I was totally not on that train, but like, thanks for coming up, And I'm starting to understand the power of the mantra, because it's not just in that practice. Like it's gonna it's gonna like send you a lifeline when you don't even realize it, Those are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mantras have completely changed my life. Like in so many ways. So big. And I was talking with someone recently, and some things are happening around the globe in this now that are causing a lot of pain for a lot of humans. If you look at what's happening in Australia and in Austria and all these other countries where they are trying to mandate people getting a vaccination, then if they don't, they can't leave their house. This is actually becoming something that is happening in whole countries. Wow. And it's like, okay, well, I am one voice. How can I be of service? How can I make a change? How can I still be at peace and not feel the pain of the collective and of this and of that and da, 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 da. And it's funny because then the song came on in my head. The end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine, right? And that's aren't those the words? And I was like, what? That's the song that just came in here. That is the end of the world as we know it. And then I was like, yeah, it is the end of the world as we know it. Because as I know the way the world is right now, I don't really like it. I love it because it is. And I love all that is, the pain, the pleasure, and all the in-betweens. And I don't enjoy watching suffering, and I don't enjoy oppression, and I don't enjoy that stuff. And so when I was like thinking about this and like, if it really is at the end of the world as I know it, and I actually feel fine, if I feel fine, that means I am in alignment, that it is in the highest good for all. And, oh my God, that it is good and it's going to pass and it is going to be enlightened. Okay, yeah. So that you're going to say something. So mantras, like having that like a little touchstone, can bring us back to really a reality of the now. You know, like my life is good. My life is good. Pain is temporary. Pain is just a word that I use to call something. What is it really pain? And what is the difference between pain and pleasure anyway? I mean, really, like that's a question. What's the difference between pain and pleasure?
They're both intense emotions, sensations, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Like what differentiates them? The label?
The side of the scale.
The what? The side of the scale?
The side of the scale.
So what mark it hits?
Yeah.
You know? So wherever we place it. Because what may be really comfortable and pleasant for you, I might find really awful. You know? So that label is literally, so that's just your label and my label. So, well, if you like it and I hate it, can I find a way to maybe kind of be at least neutral about it? Can I be in curiosity about how someone else can like what I don't like right now? Can I try that on? You know, and I'm so grateful that I've like put this into practice with like vegetables. You know, because like when I was a kid, it'd be like, ooh, gross.
Yeah.
But then I would see someone that I just like looked up to and they'd be like eating this Brussels sprout. And I'm like, I like you. And that just looks good. Like the way you're eating this Brussels sprout looks pleasant, pleasurable. And I'd be like, it's not that bad. You know, and now I'm like, Brussels sprouts, give me. Or whatever. But like, what is the difference between pain and pleasure? Can you have them both at the same time?
Yes.
I see yeses. How?
I mean, for me, it comes through an emotional pain and pleasure. You know, I can be deeply upset about something and laugh at the same time. Yeah. So I haven't been able to get there with physical pain and pleasure yet, but I do witness it emotionally.
Have you ever like bumped your elbow or a body part and it hurt so bad that you laughed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like the second after, but.
Yeah, like the ow, good.
Yeah, why did it?
Right, we all grabbed, at least we grabbed our elbow. Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't make the pain necessary, and it doesn't change the amount of pain that I'm experiencing, and yet it completely changes the amount of pain and the type of pain I'm experiencing. Because the sensation is still the same. Like if I bump my elbow and I'm like, ow, or my knee, ow, and then I'm laughing because of the absurdity of the amount of pain that I'm experiencing, I'm just hitting something, or that I tripped again on the same thing over and over again, and I'm starting to laugh. And it's like the pain feels, it's not as noticeable, right? The joy and the laughter is now the focal point. I go back to my knee. Oh yeah, it still hurts. Can't believe it still hurts. Like this is nuts. Now I'm in this space. So I am literally going like a ping pong. Pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain. So then can we have them both at the same time? Of course. You know, we can have emotional pain. And okay, here's a question. Because I was thinking, okay, I can have physical pain and still feel pleasure. You know, like I can do that. I can transcend physical pain into a pleasurable situation. a pleasurable feeling in my body. Not necessarily something I'm like, I want to go get root canals every day. It's not like that. Like, it's not like that. I never had a root canal, so I'm guessing they suck. Anyway, so here's a question. I can rise above physical with emotional and mental. Can you transcend an emotion in a way that your body feels better, but you still feel the painful emotion? Will you share?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought my person, situation. Yeah, I feel like I can be like frustrated, for example. But then I can go for a walk, and then that makes my body feel good, physically. And then, but then also like frustration becomes softer.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it comes about when I can be deeply upset at somebody or myself or whatever, and I lay on the floor and just let it all go. And the emotion leaves the body, but the remnants of it are still there, and it's not until like the next day or the next week that the emotional body clears it out, but it's no longer stored in the physical body.
Thank you for sharing that. What were you going to say?
Like I could feel like extreme sadness. And then I would like, yeah, spend time doing things to make friends, just feel my happiness. It's like sadness and happiness.
Do you find that in these moments where, say you're feeling I'm going to use the word a heavy emotion, and then, then the body tends to feel heavy too, or pain or discomfort. Can you lift the emotion and still have the heaviness in the body?
It allows the happiness to soften if you let the emotion.
Yeah. I keep seeing dancing.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I dance through emotional challenges, so if I'm sad and it's like I'm feeling anger and sad and confusion and rejected and I'm feeling all the things, right? And I'm like, my body literally, I'm either going to be like laid out in bed, or I'm going to need to dissociate because I can't handle and process all of it through my physical anymore, because my physical is kind of like, I'm done with that. Like, I'm done with you, girl. Like, I will hold high frequencies now, but you got to deal with these low density consciousnesses because I'm done holding this stuff for you. So I'm feeling all these like emotions, turn on some music, and I let it move through my body. So that my body isn't really the container for it. It's literally the thing that moves it, moves the emotions around. And so I might be doing stuff and I'm like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm doing it, whatever. And then the next day my body actually hurts worse. And my body might hurt worse because the emotions maybe moved so big, so fast through it. Think about like a tsunami, or like someone opened up the dam. Or I was letting like my emotions and energy, my spirit was moving my body. Well, maybe my body doesn't normally move like that. Like I don't like warm up before I like do this work. I'm not like, hold on, emotions. Let me just, okay, I'm warmed up and do my breathing first. So sometimes like my body will actually hurt worse when I allow the emotions to lift and move through me. It's almost like I've been hit with a bat. Yeah, because there's this emotional workout that our body goes through when we allow that energy to move through it. And then how often would I then go into that physical pain and be like, oh, it's because you're out of shape. You shouldn't have danced like that, right? So then I beat myself up and now I become more heavy and pain again, as opposed to, oh my God, I love this soreness. I love the fact that I feel like I am bruised from the inside out. Oh my God, I did that. And then next thing you know, I've literally flooded myself with a higher energy, and now the pain in my body just transmuted itself. I've alchemized it through my mind and my emotions. So there's like, I feel that we as humans have no real concept of how powerful we are with ourselves. Like, I feel like we're collectively really starting to like touch the surface of what all the ancestors have known forever, that we're like in this rediscovery of it all. And it's like they've passed down these stories through traditions and ways of being and medicines and stuff. And now it's kind of like we're at this point where we're like putting it all together in a really big, multifaceted way, in a really now way,
Yeah,
because everything's moving faster.
which can also be painful, right? Too fast.
Yes, yes, because it's almost like, has anyone ever taken a math class? Okay, cool. So for me, I was like so good at so many maths until I got to calculus, and I was like, oh, and they kept going. And I would ask questions, and I was the kid that was like, wait, so wait, it'd be like half the year, and I'm like, wait, so are we still talking about circles? And they'd be like, yes, it's the only thing it is. I'm like, I don't even get it anymore. I thought we were on graphs now. Yeah, but no, and it was like it was moving so fast that everything about me started to feel like I wasn't doing good. I wasn't doing well enough because I couldn't keep up. You know, it's almost like if you keep getting the new iteration of a phone, then you're like you're on it. But if you have a phone right now that you had 10 years ago, you literally don't have the same program.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was like a dog howl
I did
for 1
too,
second.
yeah.
I was no, siren. Samesies, but like not at all. But yeah, it is, it's moving so fast. I think having this, for me, and I'm curious what you all do think, feel around this. Like for me, it's being like so aware of what am I saying in my head? Like what is this narrative telling me? Is it telling me, Jane, you're not moving fast enough, Jane, you should be moving faster? Why is everybody around you so stupid? Why are you so stupid, Jane? You know, like whatever, like, can I be in so many now moments that aware of what this internal dialogue is, that I can stay present with me all the time, and then ask myself, like a loving friend or mother or father, how you feeling? How's your body feel? Okay, it hurts. That's okay. Are you sure it hurts? Are you open to changing the sensation? Are you open to playing with this pain? Are you open to having a pleasurable experience while in this pain? Are you open to feeling pleasure instead of pain? What are you open to, Jane? Let's play. You know, and always being in that kind of that reality, which when I say it out loud, it sounds a little nuts. I mean, it really does. But for me, it sounds like my life. You too. You're like, I feel it, right? So that's the way I do that. Like that is my life awareness, my practice. That is how I am trying to be with me the whole time and go through this human experience with as much joy and pleasure as I can. Because I know that when I look back at my close timeline ancestors, you know, parents, grandparents, and like that timeline, there wasn't that as nearly as much like just pleasure. But yeah, they had a lot of stuff going on, like I don't know, the depression and all these wars and all these things that they were just witnessing around them, and we're going through a lot of that stuff at the same time. But like, what do you all do to get through? Either, here's the question, and whatever way you want to answer it, if you want to answer it, either, what do you do to get through pain and pleasure, or what ideas do you have to get through pain with pleasure? That's the question, that's what I'm asking. So, here's the question, how do you plan on being in a new relationship with pain to actually transcend it, stay with you, and alchemize it into pleasure?
Yeah, I think not ignoring it, like you were saying, like you have to be an active participant with it is really important because it's the same with pleasure when you become inactive with it and it's just happening. It's like moved away from pleasure and it's moved in. I've been toying with this whole time we've been talking. Because I keep associating it with like guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's easy to mold it, or at least for me, to mold pleasure into like something that's negative. Whereas pain just seems to be this like totem of itself, you know? And I don't know, you know, like I feel like pleasure is its own totem, right? Just like pain is. And so we have to like play with them in the sense that we're acknowledging that they exist and letting them go through your body, like you were saying. So
Yes, check this. I love that you said that. This is what I just saw. Letting it move through your body. So, armpits. So tattooing them, and I was like, wow, that's a sensation. And so when I was taking that sensation and saying, okay, well, what if I just feel the vibration of it? Okay, I'm feeling a vibration of this needle. Can I feel this vibration in my belly? Can I feel this vibration in my knees? Can I feel the
Yeah.
vibration in my bones and my blood and my toes? Like, how can I feel this vibration move through my entire being? Right? And what it did was it just moved it so that it wasn't this localized, like, pain there, right? Go into pleasure. Think about a certain place on your body that you really like to be touched. Okay? And when you can just when you're feeling it just there, it's great. Now imagine if that pleasure sensation stayed and it moved all throughout your body. Say it moved up and through and out and it expanded you. The next thing you know, you're literally filled with this like pleasurable experience. You know, like and you are like embodying a whole experience of pleasure. And at that point, it's just like, whoa, what in the, this is so wicked. And same thing with the pain, because then it starts to become this full body vibration, tingle, sensation, different breathing perhaps. So then it's like, where does it change? It's, I think when we can take it and delocalize it and kind of spread it out and be in the experience of the wholeness of it. And when you're talking about the two totems, I saw like almost like a Barbie and a Ken doll, but like two little like actual like cool carved totems. And it's like we've taken them and they're like separate, but they're actually like connected by a string.
oh my God, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like they can never really be taken apart. Just how close are they together and how far apart do we want them?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know it just makes me think about a lot of things that I've studied myself, but like one quote, just thinking about myself right now is how it has to do a lot with the habits as well as practicing much because in particular thinking about the physical pain, I feel like I've always thought about emotional pain. You know, to just kind of observe and describe it like NBC language has been very helpful for me because you start like, I just had a conversation today with somebody about it. It's like, well, that's not helping that person because they said you're feeling shitty. And, you know, I'm just trying to describe it makes it worse. But for me, I just feel like just saying like, just being like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm feeling insecure, I'm feeling this. It just somehow becomes more expensive because I'm becoming more open about it versus like, I'm feeling shitty, you know.
Mhm.
That's kind of, it's almost like there's no way out. Right?
Yes.
You're just stuck in the corner and that's it. But just realizing with myself that with the physical pain, so let's say I think specifically about sometimes I get this really bad headache, right? And it's very hard for me. Like I'm just curious about that to imagine like the sensation. I kind of just get, I kind of get like this feeling like I just get stuck in that one particular place, and it drives me crazy. And like, you know, and then I take a pill and it helps. But you know, to play with it, and I know that it's possible. I'm just noticing for myself. It's harder for me to do it with physical pain, with emotional pain, and perhaps because I have more practice with emotion versus physical pain. You know, so you know, like those people, especially the ones who grow up, like, when you admire, like, just like your young children who go through like cancer treatment and all those things. They have to practice that, right? So they develop like more relationship with that.
Mhm. And to be able to love the pain.
Yeah,
And, I think that can definitely trigger some people to even hear, how can I love this pain? How can I love it if someone is like, and I understand that, and I'm very sensitive to that. And when I've had, in the example of headaches, once in a blue moon, I get a debilitating migraine, can't see straight, can't walk, can't get out of bed. I'm just in severe pain. And it's like, I used to, how can I get this pain to stop? Like, I need to get this to stop. Like, I think this has got to stop. It's going to kill me. And then when I was like, you know what? I wonder if I can just like explode my head. Like, how can I like take this pain and actually take it beyond the borders of my head? And I could do that like energetically, and it like decreased the pressure of the headache. It still hurt, but I wasn't in that like head in a vice pain. It just like, it like swelled up so big, and then I was able to continue to actually swell the pain out, that I could like kind of lay back into the pain. And it was almost like this big pillow situation, and then I was able to sleep. So being able to, for me, it's recreating the sensation while not making it go away. And I think that, I like that you mentioned emotional pain, physical pain, because, there's this aspect of all of this that I just want to touch on, and it's mental pain.
yeah.
How often it's that loopity, 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 loop, doo-da, doo-da, if it would just shut up, I would be happy, and being able to maybe even make peace and enjoy the fact that I can have so many really mean voices in my head that are me. Oh my God, this is like a soap opera. This is like Guiding Light and Days of Our Lives are fighting back and forth in my own head right now. Now I'm just going to sit back and watch them. Next thing you know, I can't even tune into either of them, because they start to just go away, because I'm no longer feeding those mental programs.
Yeah, I see the connections now. It's almost like practice like family constellations, kind of this principle of belonging or accepting all of that versus like excluding. I don't want you because you're a bad brother. The same, I don't want you because you're that pain.
Yeah.
And another thing I just also thought about, like how we need to see it more clearly, because it's let's say pain. We usually feel pain when we feel disconnected from something.
Mm,
So right, but then the best remedy is just to connect to it.
yeah.
Okay, right.
And I just think, sorry, Sandra, like, it just came to my head, like, how, like, a lot of hurt people really isn't love, so that's like the same thing as pain. And even though, like, at times when we go through it, we don't realize that we didn't need to love ourselves through it. It's
Sorry,
like,
but please,
why is it so hard though when we're
Right.
going through it?
Because we're just conditioned and programmed to not.
please tell me, like, it's very, like, what do you think about it? I'm trying to, trying to understand. Is it because I come across some people who say that they really don't need connection when they're in pain. They want to be alone, they don't want to be touched, they don't want to be approached, and it's so hard for me to understand. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know a lot of people like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I sometimes think I go through that with my mental self because like I think it's like I feel like I am the only one who's gonna save myself. And I might need to go through all that to figure out a way out. Even though it could be the easier route, I guess. They have to, I don't know, I'm like, I've just found, because I recently had a bout where I all of a sudden experienced not wanting to talk to people, and I'd never been that way. I've always been like, I need to get it out, I need to talk to people, and it's weird because even though, like, even if deep down the goal is to want to be able to associate with people, you're not gonna get there until like something else in you is fixed. And it was like being around people almost made it worse because I felt so lost that then I was being associated with all of these negative words, like insane, I'm crazy, I can't control, I need help, I never want that, you know what I mean? So I think, I don't know, it's like you gotta have your own little temple ceremony, like figure it out. I mean, because it's funny that you gotta talk about that, like, I realize how disassociated I am with people in general. I mean, even though I'm here, it's like really like, I don't really know how to be intimate, you know? It's so hard because like for a whole entire life, I feel like I couldn't really be myself. And it's still so hard to do that sometimes.
Mhm.
So that's where it's like that block, that's like safe for me. That's all.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I'm glad that this has been kind of brought up because, you know, to be in pain, to be experiencing pain, it is a very personal experience that only you know. And no matter how many words I use or sounds I make to communicate the type of pain I'm experiencing, no one will understand it in the now that I'm experiencing it. They may understand it from their perspective or from their lived experience, but they will not understand it in the now that I am experiencing it. And some people need a reflection, a support, someone to hold on to, someone to be held by, whatever. And other people may not because they are in their own relationship with something that they know that they can only be in with it. And being able to offer grace because that person may feel unworthy of love and support in pain. Well, then that's their opportunity to learn how to love and support themselves through pain. You know, and then there are other people that I can't be in pain unless I have you here. Just okay, now I feel better. Well, then they're going to learn how to release codependency eventually at some point. But until I can be with me through my hardest and darkest times, will I be able to be there for anyone else truly in theirs? You know, so glad that you brought that up. And I love that intimacy was brought up, which I won't go into in this now, but I want to in another now. Because I think intimacy and spirituality have been so far removed from conversation. It's like, I've never really had many conversations where, like, just talking about pleasure and pain in any kind of way, unless it's like, oh, let's talk about the Tantra, which is totally great. And it's, anyway, I love Tantra and Bhakti, but, and I want to bring more of these conversations in, talk about like intimacy, pleasure, and all these things that are a part of our humanness, and what that looks like when we don't have what feels to be a healthy relationship with those things, for me, you know. Um, so I want to pause this conversation to stop this one. I want to thank you all for being here and hanging in and checking this out and being a part of this hopefully pleasurable experience. And if it was remotely painful for you, hopefully you transmuted it and alchemized it into something more pleasurable than painful. Or maybe you're enjoying the pain of listening. Either way, thank you for your presence. And I love you. I love you so much. So take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all so soon.